Okay, this is like the third video I've made trying to get this thing under 10 minutes, and I keep missing my 10-minute mark for YouTube, so try this again. This is my 1981 BJ42 3B diesel. Just about a 30-year-old Land Cruiser, I guess, being an 81. So overall in pretty good shape for a 30-year-old ride. I've had this for since 2007. So not too bad at all. It's 2010 now. It's just over 3 years actually I think I've had it. While we're in the engine compartment here, just a few things to note. New regulator, Next Step NS2 from Ample Power out of Seattle, Washington. Got this from a local marine shop who specializes in 24 volt charge regulators, and that's hooked up to obviously the alternator, which is was rebuilt by the previous owner, so he says. I don't have any documentation on that, so I can't confirm that, but all I can tell you is that, you know, being an electronics guy, I have measured the voltages on the batteries, make sure the balancing is proper, and I'm getting 28 volts under full load charging, and that's including headlights on, blower on high, all my accessories on and everything else, four-ways on, brakes on, so, you know, no issues at all with the alternator. Just to also, while we're in here, prove that the vehicle is cold, because I'm going to show you, we'll start the vehicle up here in probably part 2 or part 3 of this video. I have an infrared thermometer with me here, and we'll just turn it on, get the laser going, just to show you the temperature here. The battery's 71 degrees, vehicle's 70 degrees, the block, as you can see that the laser there, 70 degrees, rad hose 71 degrees, radiator 70 degrees. So the vehicle is nice and cold, and the ground 68 degrees. So nice and cold. Well, not winter cold, but summer cold. So in the engine block, a few things to note. Obviously the new Ultima red top batteries, I put those in about a year ago. They're solid, no problems. Voltage, as I said, is balanced between them, and I cycle them periodically from side to side. Just to, you know, 24 volt system like this, it's a good idea to do that. So that's being done regularly. Went over the regulator. Filters, I have a new Fram filter down there, oil filter on the PVC breather, or positive crankcase ventilation, so PCV, I'm sorry. There is a hose attached to the bottom of it to take the breather air and dump it out just a bit behind the vehicle, actually just right underneath. You'll see it there. Little hose sticking out underneath the skid plate. It's just a 5/8 radiator hose, heater hose. The main reason I did that is because I was finding, excuse me, got the friggin' shop dowels here all over the seat, shoes. I was finding that the smoke from the breather, and there's a little bit, not a hell of a lot, but enough, you know, any 30-year-old diesel is going to be doing this. I found that it's a little annoying, given that the air filters are right here, the air intake's right here. You're sitting at a stoplight, smoke's kind of filling in here a little bit, and mist is coming up, you know, a little bit of oil mist, and it's going right into your air intake, and you're breathing that stuff lightly in the cabin. It's annoying as hell, so I just moved that further back, and it's got rid of that problem. While we're in here, a little small oil leak, I guess, from the valve cover, could be, I guess. It's been the same since I've had the vehicle. You know, the shop towels I was just using to clean up the radiator from a couple of videos before. I haven't wiped anything down at all. Let's see if I can get underneath here and show you the oil pan. Oh, excuse me. Nothing leaking here. Nothing crazy. No, nothing out of the norm, that's for sure. A little bit maybe on the other side there, but nothing insane. So, don't have any oil leaks. Oil's not burning up, not going through oil. I change the oil more frequently than anything else here. Every quarter or of the year I change the oil, so we're good on that front. The new drive belt in here, you can see that was put in just a while ago. The old belt was starting to squeak and squeal a little bit, and when I was off-roading, with going over the puddles, you'd hear it squeak and chirp. So new belt. Radiator, just going over this, is somewhat new. This is a rebuilt radiator, or cleaned up radiator I should say, flushed and tested by a local radiator shop, West Coast Radiators, that I have the bill for. Previous owner gave this to me when he found out my other one was leaking about 6 months ago, when I started thinking about selling my cruiser. And my other one is actually behind the Jetta in the carport, so I have my other radiator still with me. This isn't guaranteed to be 100%. I hasn't no leaks at all at this point. It's not a new radiator, so if you get 5 years out of it, great. If you get 10 years out of it, awesome. But I wouldn't expect anything more than that. There's no leaks in the bottom. Nothing to speak of here, so we're cool on that front. Coolant, probably a little high. I just opened this out on a previous video here that I got over 10 minutes, and coolant is nice, cool and green. I am really a stickler for keeping this stuff up, and you know, nothing worse than opening up somebody's reservoir here and finding mud. Yeah, it's just gross, and just total disregard for maintenance in my opinion. So fluids and all that stuff are high priority with me. Keeping an eye on the time here, I want to keep this video under 10 minutes so we don't can post it up on YouTube. The fuel filter is replaced, new fuel filter, Fram filters, new heater hose on the bottom, a new upper heater hose, rad hose rather, new water pump. I was chasing an issue a couple years ago, overheating, and I found out that it was actually the viscous clutch on the front of the fan that was my issue was. So this has got some nice resistance to it now. But the previous one was just basically freewheeling. So I ended up replacing my thermostat gasket, water pump, and it's still overheating. I'm like, son of a bitch. So did some more reading and looked at the clutch and replaced that, and it's been fine since. This is not a new clutch or new fan for that matter. This is just another one from the local Land Cruiser shop that's in better condition than the one I had. So no guarantees there for 10 years, but it's been good for 2 years, so no worries there. On this side of the vehicle, I've got my solenoid here that takes the 24 volts from the battery post here. 24 volts, puts it down to 12 volts inside through a DC to DC converter. This switches on when the vehicle starts. New brake line I had when I was rebuilding the knuckle on the front of the vehicle. The knuckles on both sides I was working in here, and the old brake line was kind of soft, so I replaced that. Alright, that's it for the front of the vehicle. I'm going to move on to part 2.